If you are one of the millions of Americans depending on Social Security, Wednesday, May 27th, 2026, is an important date. The Social Security Administration is officially sending out another wave of monthly benefit payments, and for many retirees, disabled Americans, and survivor beneficiaries, this check is the difference between financial stability and financial stress. But while the payment itself is routine, the conversation surrounding Social Security in 2026 is becoming far more emotional, political, and personal. Because for millions of Americans, this is no longer just a retirement program. It is survival. Who gets paid on Wednesday, May 27? According to the official Social Security Administration payment calendar, beneficiaries whose birthdays fall between the 21st and 31st of any month are scheduled to receive their payments on the fourth Wednesday of the month. In May 2026, that date lands on Wednesday, May 27. That includes many recipients of retirement benefits, SSDI disability benefits, survivor benefits. Meanwhile, Americans born between the 1st and 10th already received their payments earlier in the month, while those born between the 11th and 20th received theirs during the third Wednesday payment cycle. However, there are exceptions that many people still do not fully understand. If you began receiving Social Security before May 1997, you are usually paid on the third day of each month rather than the Wednesday birthday schedule. And if you receive both SSI and Social Security benefits together, your payment timing may also follow a different structure. This confusion is one reason why "Where is my Social Security check?" trends online almost every single month. Now let's talk about June, because many Americans are already preparing next month's bills around these dates. Here's the current June 2026 SSA payment schedule. June 1's Supplemental Security Income, commonly known as SSI, is scheduled to be paid. June 3rd, people who started receiving Social Security before May 1997 are expected to receive payments. This date also applies to many beneficiaries receiving both SSI and Social Security. June 10, beneficiaries born between the 1st and 10th. June 17, beneficiaries born between the 11th and 20th. June 24, beneficiaries born between the 21st and 31st. One important detail many Americans overlook is that Social Security payments are technically paid 1 month behind. So the money deposited in June is actually considered payment for May benefits. That detail may sound small, but it becomes extremely important during government shutdown fears, budget negotiations, or payment delay rumors. This is where the story becomes much bigger than a simple payment calendar. Social Security anxiety is growing in America, and honestly, it is not hard to understand why. Over the last several years, retirees have watched inflation eat away at purchasing power. Rent prices exploded in many cities. Grocery bills increased dramatically. Insurance costs climbed higher. Prescription medications remain expensive. Property taxes continue rising in many states. But despite yearly cost of living adjustments, many seniors still feel like their checks are falling behind reality. For someone receiving around $2,000 monthly in retirement benefits, life can become incredibly difficult in major metropolitan areas. And remember, many retirees are not sitting on massive savings accounts. A shocking number of Americans enter retirement with very little personal savings at all. That means Social Security is no longer extra money. It is the main money. One thing that rarely gets discussed openly is the emotional impact of depending on government payments. Millions of retirees now organize their entire month around one deposit date. They know exactly when the money arrives. They know exactly when bills are due, and they know exactly how quickly the account balance drops afterward. That creates enormous psychological pressure. For younger Americans, retirement may still feel distant. But for seniors already living on fixed incomes, every headline about Social Security funding, insolvency projections, benefit cuts, or political fights in Washington feels deeply personal. Because this is not theoretical policy for them. This is rent, this is medication, this is groceries. This is survival. Another reason payment stories gain so much attention is because Americans keep hearing warnings about the future of the Social Security trust funds. Experts have repeatedly warned that without reforms, the program could eventually face automatic benefit reductions in the coming decade once reserves become depleted. Now, to be very clear, Social Security is not disappearing tomorrow. Many viral social media posts exaggerate the situation.
Payroll taxes would still continue funding much of the system, even if trust fund reserves become strained in the future. But concerns about long-term sustainability are absolutely real, and younger workers are increasingly questioning whether the system they pay into today will provide the same level of support when they retire decades from now. I think one of the biggest problems in modern America is that retirement has become financially terrifying for ordinary people. Previous generations often had stronger pensions, lower housing costs, and more affordable health care. Today, many workers are expected to somehow build retirement wealth while dealing with higher debt, higher housing costs, student loans, rising healthcare expenses, inflation, economic uncertainty. So when critics dismiss Social Security concerns as just another government payment story, I think they completely miss the bigger picture. This program has become one of the last remaining financial safety nets for millions of Americans. And honestly, the fact that people anxiously wait for payment dates every single month says a lot about the state of the economy. When retirees fear missing one deposit by even a few days, it reveals how little margin many Americans truly have left. Another major concern: fraud and scams. There's also another growing issue surrounding Social Security in 2026: scams. Scammers continue targeting seniors through fake SSA phone calls, fraudulent emails, and text messages claiming benefits are suspended or accounts are compromised. The Social Security Administration repeatedly warns beneficiaries that SSA will not threaten arrest over the phone SSA, will not demand payment through gift cards SSA, will not randomly suspend Social Security numbers through aggressive calls. Unfortunately, fear makes older Americans vulnerable, and scammers know that. That is why every payment cycle also brings renewed warnings about fraud prevention. The political battle around Social Security is only getting bigger. Another reality is that Social Security is becoming a major political battlefield again ahead of future elections. Some politicians argue the retirement age should increase. Others push for higher payroll taxes on wealthy earners. Some want expanded benefits. Others argue the system needs major restructuring. But here is the political truth nobody likes admitting. Social Security is one of the few government programs that directly touches nearly every American family. That makes reform incredibly difficult, because any proposed change immediately affects retirees, workers, future retirees, disabled Americans, and survivors. Final thoughts. For now, the checks are still arriving. Wednesday, May 27th, is another scheduled Social Security payment day, and June's payment calendar is already confirmed. But underneath these routine deposits is a much larger national conversation about aging, retirement, inflation, and economic insecurity in America. And I think that conversation is only going to intensify over the next few years, because millions of Americans are no longer asking, "When will my check arrive?" They are starting to ask, "Will this system still protect future generations the way it protected previous ones?" And honestly, that may become one of the defining economic questions of modern America.